Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and finish 1.4. This should be the last part of this one. So we're going to talk about a few things. Um, so we've been talking about quadratics and solving them. Okay, so the next thing we want to kind of talk about is how we know which method to use. I am not going to require you to use a particular method. That is going to be kind of your clue. Okay, if you want to do a certain method, that's fine. Okay, I'm not going to require. I'm not going to test you on a certain method. In other words, I'm not going to say um, you have to do this method. Okay, you can pick the method. So that being said, let's figure out the pros and cons. So we four methods. First one we talked about was square root method. Okay, pros, it's quick. Okay, cons does not work if there is a bx in the problem. Okay, we talked about that in the notes. If there's a bx, you can't use square root method. There's also one other con. Don't forget the plus and minus sign. Okay, and the web sign you got to separate. Remember, you got to find two answers. Okay, second one was by factoring. Okay, plus is it's also quick. Okay, minus it only finds real rational answers. Okay. Third one we talked about was complete the square. Okay, the plus is it finds all answers, all solutions, all types. The con, tough when fractions. And then the last one was the quadratic formula. Plus finds all types of solutions. Okay, and sometimes you'll get some weird looking answers. Okay, now here's what I tell people. If you see that it only has an x squared of some sort in it, if it only has that, no x, go straight to the square root. Okay, if it has everything, try factoring, but don't take more than 30 seconds, 30, 45 seconds at the most. If you cannot factor it in 30 to 45 seconds, go straight to, and I just say go straight to quadratic formula. Okay, remember in quadratic formula, one of the cons is it must be in this form. Must be in standard form. Okay, so those are the pluses and cons that you can try to figure out. He also has a video in there that in the WebAssign that you can try in the eText. It's actually a pretty good way of strategizing too. All right, so the last thing is we might have to use quadratics in rational equations. We've talked about this before. Okay, we haven't done one like this before because this is going to have some quadratics in it. Okay, well, we still have to find restrictions. So the restrictions here is 1 cannot be 1 or -1. X cannot be 1 or -1. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by the common denominator, which in this case is going to be x minus 1, x plus 1. That is our common denominator. So when I multiply this outside piece times this one, the x minus 1's cancel, which is just going to give me 1 times x plus 1, plus, when these two multiply, the x plus 1s are going to go away, so I'm going to have 2 times x minus 1. And then on this side, 1 times both of them. We get this. All right, so we're going to do some distribution. X plus 1 plus 2x minus 2 is equal to x squared plus 1x minus 1x minus 1. Well, these right here are going to cancel. Okay, combine like terms over here. I'm going to get 3x minus 1 is equal to x squared minus 1. All right, so notice there's an x squared and an x. So I need to get this into standard form. If I have an x squared and an x, I need to get everything to one side. So we're going to move everything over. So we're going to have x squared minus 3x. We're going to add 1 to both sides, and those are going to cancel. I'm left with that. All right, so how do I deal with something like that? Well, this is what we call GCF factoring. Take out a common factor. Well, the common factor is x. So what we're going to do is factor out that x and left with x minus 3. And you're going to set each of these equal to 0. Those are my factors. These are my factors. Okay, so your factor is equal to 0. Well, x is 0 is already solved. And then we get x is equal to 3. Now, remember we talked about this when we did rational equations before. Once we find our solutions, make sure they're not one of our restrictions. So are either one of these a restriction? They are not. So my final answer is x is equal to 0 and 3. And that is done. Not real complicated with them, but just FYI. We'll get into 1.6, which will do some more different types of factoring like this GCF. Okay, so hope this helps. I know it's quite a few things for 1.4. That's the best I could do. Otherwise, it would have been one really long video. So, hope this works, and I hope we are done with it. Okay. All right, so good luck with these, and I'm going to try and turn these off.